Nick Turse of Vice News uncovered some incredible facts about what the U.S. is doing around the world that I was just utterly clueless about. So, look at this. The war you've never heard of. The U.S. is waging a massive shadow war in Africa. What? Now, look, we knew that in parts of northern Africa, sure, that was happening. In fact, right now we have 7 different interventions going on. There's so many, I don't know if I could even name them all right now. Let's give it a shot. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Libya. Boom, I got them all. So, but that's amazing. I bet you most of the American people have no idea. And also we do these cute little turns of phrases where we're like, no, that one doesn't count as a war. Why? Well, ground troops are not there? And then you go, well, wait a second, but there are 3,000 boots on the ground, so I don't know. Yeah, but those are advisors and special ops, and that doesn't count because of reasons. And think about it. We love to say, no, Pakistan doesn't count because we just do drone strikes there. And that appears to me to be an act of war. I mean, that's like, imagine China decides to drone Mississippi and take out a KKK enclave. Would we be like, yeah, it's cool. It's just targeted drone strikes. They didn't just attack the U.S. No, but they literally attacked the U.S. So why does that not count? Why does that not count? But that's how they act. And by the way, no congressional approval. They go all the way back to the original declaration under Bush of the war on terror and the National Defense Authorization Act, and they go, well, this is just tack it onto that. That's fine. No matter where we go, I don't know, war on terror or something. So you can go any country you go into, they go war on terror. So that's just like a blank check and a blank slate. And whatever, you go wherever you want and we'll rationalize it. We'll figure out some legal justification later on. That's crazy. That's like a world emperor. I bomb anything for any reason. And by the way, a lot of this obviously started under Bush, but then it was continued under Obama. He didn't roll it back. And then now that you laid all the groundwork, congratulations. Now you get a total madman like Trump in there, and you trust him with those same powers. So since Trump's been in office, 432% increase in drone strikes. And it's not like Obama was, going soft on the drone strikes. Just Trump was like, yeah, just go nuts. Do a lot more. Drop the mother of all bombs, as they call it, on Afghanistan. Gratuitously. It's the largest non-nuclear weapon we have. A random day, they're like, yeah, just go drop that. It's cool. No problem. Increase in Syria, increase in Afghanistan. Just doubling down in the war on terror all over the place. Just listening completely to the neocons. But now it's not just the 7 interventions that we thought and that I thought. It's happening everywhere. It's happening all throughout Africa. Listen to this. 6 years ago, a deputy commanding general for U.S. Army Special Operations Command gave a conservative estimate of 116 missions being carried out at any one time by Navy SEALs, Army Green Berets, and other special operations forces across the globe. Today, according to U.S. military documents obtained by Vice News, special operators are carrying out nearly 100 missions at any given time in Africa alone. It's the latest sign of the military's quiet but ever-expanding presence on the continent, one that represents the most dramatic growth in the deployment of America's elite troops to any region of the globe. In 2006, just 1% of all U.S. commandos deployed overseas were in Africa. In 2010, it was 3%. By 2016, that number had jumped to more than 17%. In fact, according to data supplied by U.S. Special Operations Command, there are now more Special Operations personnel devoted to Africa than anywhere except the Middle East. 1,700 people spread out across 20 countries dedicated to assisting the U.S. military's African partners in their fight against terrorism and extremism. So are we just gonna, at this point, we're done with the whole democracy thing, and we're done with the whole separation of powers and Constitution, where it's hey, Congress needs to, if there's gonna be a war, Congress needs to declare the war. We're just totally done with that now. So, it's, and by the way, we're paying for this. Notice, they always say, oh, clean water in Flint, Michigan, we can't afford that. Free college. Even Slovenia has free college, but we can't afford that. Single-payer healthcare, Medicare for all. Every other country is, every other modern nation has single-payer healthcare, but we can't afford that. Come on, what are you talking about? We can't afford it. What are you going to do? But we can afford this. We can afford endless war. We have 800 military bases all around the world. It costs $100 billion a year to maintain those military bases. I didn't sign off on this. Did you sign off on this? If you had a vote as to where your tax dollars would go, would you prioritize? Yeah, I think we need some special operations forces in fucking Burundi before we get, upgrade our infrastructure and get clean water in Flint and make it so that our infrastructure doesn't get a grade of D+. Let's prioritize that. There's 600,000 homeless people in the United States of America. But, let's, Zimbabwe. Let's go to Zimbabwe, because why not? The government, they don't even pretend to represent us anymore. I mean, this is Banana Republic level garbage is what this is. So, there you have it, man. At any given time, there's 100 missions being carried out by Special Operations Forces. That's preposterous. Because I know they're going to be, what are you talking about? I want to do this for humanitarian reasons because I'm a good person. So I care about, stopping the terrorists, bro. You want to stop the terrorists? Stop arming and funding and backing Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the home of Wahhabism, the same ideology as ISIS. They treat women as second-class citizens, behead people in the public square. They arm jihadists and Islamists in Syria. They spread their radical ideology throughout the world, and they do it with our backing. They're one of our top allies. So you want to know how to stop terrorism? Stop that. Stop arming human rights violators. How about that? And also, stop participating in it. You want to stop terrorism? How about the fact that Trump's first military raid killed 30 civilians, including an 8-year-old American girl? You know what the definition of terrorism is? Violence done for a political or religious purpose. Trump killed those people for a political purpose. That is the definition of terrorism, the textbook definition. So you want to stop terrorism, stop participating in it. How about that? How about 200,000 innocent civilians died in Iraq, a country that didn't attack us, and we invaded, armed, and occupied? How about that? How about stop that? At any given time, 100 special operations missions going on. I'm glad to see this is how we're spending our money. And I'm glad to see this is how... And by the way, this is why polls show the U.S. #1 threat to world peace. They did a poll asking people all around the world, hey, what country is the biggest threat to world peace? They didn't say North Korea with their insane regime, authoritarian through and through. People didn't say Pakistan and India, even though they've always been at the brink of fighting and their nuclear powers. They said the United States of America. That's who they said. Why? Because of stuff like this.